You right, everybody? Just a quick one. Good bits of kit there, Mo. Good Christmas present. Right, I've got an array of things out here. All about mess tin size, right? It's not about mess tins. It's about, this video is about getting in a mess, overcomplicating things, right? Young lad who subscribes to me and I subscribe to him, he's come up with a few questions. How much brew kit should he be taking? How many cotton bandanas should he be taking? What should he put in his bag first? What should be coming out of his bag first? Should he buy a bag first or buy all the kit first? Don't get yourself in a mess. Don't overcomplicate anything. It's easy, right? It is simple, right? And I don't mean that disrespectful. What I mean is just keep it simple. Kiss it all the time. Keep it simple. Mess tins. Don't get in a mess. You should be able to fit a fair amount of kit in a mess tin, right? It's just that mess tin in a pouch is a good idea, right? Rule of thumb on packing your kit, Tom, right? Generally, it's the last thing that you think you're going to need goes down the bottom, right? Rule of thumb, it's your sleeping system, which would be your bag, not your shelter, your sleeping system, like your sleeping bag and whatever else you use for your sleeping system. You probably put your dry kit down with that in your main wash kit, right? And then on the top of that, you might have some food or supplies or whatever, right? On top of that, you might have your cook system. On top of that, you might have your water, a couple of spare bits of water, and your clothes for the day or whatever, you know what I mean? Generally, right? Just generally. Generally, the first thing out of any bag should be your first aid kit. Or the first thing you should be able to reach, if it's not on the outside of your kit bag, right? Your shelter should really be on the outside of your kit bag. So you're not going in to get in your kit bag before you've got your shelter up, taking all your kit out in whatever weather you're in, you know what I mean? So get your shelter up first, and then things that you know you're going to be using first. Generally for me it's the brew up kit. That's just the way it is. Stop, get your brew on, maybe something quick to eat. Like I say, your bag would be worked down to the during the day's sort of tasks. Rule of thumb. But most of my kits are based around a mess tin size. That's my fire kit. I've showed that off before. That's like my main fire kit, you know what I mean? Do I take that every single time do I go out? No. That fairly rarely comes out these days because it lives in my kit bag. You can't beat old pencil cases, but again, look, about mess tin size. That's just got one of my water filters in. It's the Sawyer. I'm partial on these. These are the Trangia mess tins, and again, these are quite good for making kits in. There's another Sawyer water filter system in there. Millback bag on the bottom. Bottle. Just again, look, these here. Do you know your new gas mask bags, the S10 respirator, I think it is? People buy the bags for like bug out bag and bushes and that, bushcraft bags. That's the pouches off the side. Right, 1 second, I'll just pause this. That's the pouches off the side of the bag, and it just so happens to fit a Trangia mess tin. Lovely, right? I think I've got a fire kit in this one. This is coming off, yeah, fire kit, look. Again, basic fire kit. Lighter, bit of natural tinder. You can't beat natural tinders. You obviously tell I don't use this one yet because I'm just making it, but there's a cheap chat fixed blade knife. Unused ferrocene rod in there. Good old Mad Dog Survival. think it's bits and pieces, is it? Oh no, it's his jewels, Mad Dog jewels. A bit more of Mad Dog stuff, which is... Oh, his fireworks there, brilliant they are. Absolutely brilliant bits of kit, those fireworks. That's just a little box of matches, look. This one Festus wrapped up in cling film. It's just the handle for the mess tin itself, and what's that in there? That's pine wood strips from Mad Dog Supply. So that's just a very basic little fire kit look. You know what I mean? Just keep it simple. Keep it as simple as you can. Keep it easy on yourself. I'll go through that tin at some stage, look here. This has come out of the Out the Window kit. It's to go back onto me Assault Vest. I made an Out the Window bailout kit. So I was spending a lot of time at my wife's house because I used to live in a flat. Not a high-rise flat, but the flat was like 4 large flights of steps up. And I just couldn't hack it anymore with me back, so I had to move just recently to a ground floor flat. But I've got a vest which I had all dolled up with stuff like that, right? But I had to buy 2 lengths of rope to abseil down outside the window if anything toward happens, so I'll not be doing that anymore. But anyway, look, little mess tin, like I say, it's part of a bigger kit. This it's just a Swiss Army knife in there. It's a Victorinox actual Swiss Army knife, that's why I said Swiss Army knife. Snap lights. K-bar fixed blade there. Nothing spectacular. And just like I say, look, just a bag of tin of bump. See, I'm guilty of jamming stuff in a tin, jamming it, right? Because I'm still. Oh, my kits are. I know my kits can be a bit complex, you know what I mean, and involved. But there's nothing in there that I wouldn't want, right? And it all surrounds the same thing. Fire. Being able to see something in some way of making it at least a shelter and first aid, and water. So that's that mess tin. So like I say, I'm a big believer in having mess tin size kits. Put those the other side. Just hang on. Just make that safe. Just put those the other side so it doesn't get confused. I've showed you this look. Very clearly marked. This is my first aid kit. This lives in a old style, the square gas mask bags, which I take as my kind of like possibles pouch or ditty bag, whatever you like. That's got my first aid kit. Thomas, Plymouth Friends, I keep teeth stuff in there also. That needs checking on the date, so I might do a video on that. Right, and that little tin there is just basically more fire starting kit, snap lights, very small folding saw, crank powered, solar powered torch, and in the back there's just that's a piggyback, some sort of make piggyback knife, and it's just a bit of a little kit in there. Look, again, that's just, these pouches are about mess tin size. This one here, it's another kit. This is another, like an all-in kit, if you like, ditch kit. Quite a substantial shelter kit. That's look, because it doesn't get used, you know what I mean. But things that can come within the wrap and then you can keep in the wrap, and it doesn't take so much room. I'd suggest that you keep the wrappers for things. You know, there's another little possible bag there. There's a bit of card, paper, and a couple of staples may come in handy for something. Again, look, just another one of those knives. I think I showed this. Bit of gaffer tape, duct tape, water kit, fishing kit. That's got a torch in, I think, first aid, cotton triangular bandages, other things down the bottom there. Look, there's all sorts in there. Oh look, it's even bigger than I thought. It's got torch in. There's a larger fire kit, and there's a repair kit which has got a few bits of tools in. is. Oh, that's cord. It's like Kevlar cord. So, like I say, mess tin size kits. Look, I'm getting the right mess here. So that's why I was quite fond of them. And for £35, my wife bought me a limited edition, limited equipment survival kit, which I put in here. Right, 1 second. Which I put in here. Look again. Look, it's in a mess tin. It's in a little separate pouch. It's in one of these tins that I quite like. Get these from Dove tins. Very similar to them, but these tins are all better. Right, let me get there. I'm getting there. So, hang on. I beg your pardon. Just had to put you down there to get that little. That's a glow in the dark bungee. And what I've got in there is blanket. And that tin there, that was the limitless equipment. Right, survival kit she bought me. Torch, whistle, another little torch. So, Huntsman, jelly Huntsman. That's should have took the tin out first. That's a Frontiera water straw with a straw. These ones here will take out chemicals also and heavy metals, whereas your soya just take out viruses and stuff like that. But yeah, that kit there I'm trying to get to. I got that. I looked up. It was £35, but it comes with a tough box, A5 writing wet notepad, and a length of tactical cord they call it, right? But they're £35, and they're a good kit. These are a good kit, right? Just recently, I'll show you just 1 second. Put you on there for a second. I've got myself a couple of the Polymath feather seam rods for each of those kits, you know what I mean? Because those whistles that you get with the kits, right, somebody's been slacking them off. If you think anybody with a half grain of sense is going to rely on that whistle for the standalone fire system, think again, brother. You know, I think it's the same person that complains that the link between the feather seam rod and strikers you get are too short. He hasn't got the sense to cut the cord, or like old school boys used to put a strength of bungee in, but never mind. And there's a new Walker. I'm not going to show you the other side, but look, it hasn't been opened. And hopefully in here there should be a Victorinox Walker. Oh, look at that. It's come out the box in transit. So you don't need to see that. Got myself a new Walker for one of those. £14 delivered from Ordnance Survey. So that's a new Walker. Like I said, don't get in a mess. Try to keep it simple. I'm a big believer in mess tin sizes for your kits. I'm also a big believer of having something to be able to store your kit in if you're using something as your part of your kit, you know what I mean? And another thing, if you're down to a kit bag like this or a kit, you should be dispersing bits of kit on your person anyway. Like you should always have your whistle on you, some sort of cutting blade, some sort of way of getting your water, some sort of light, you know what I mean? That's minimum. Water, fire, shelter, first aid, keep it safe, but try not to complicate things. It really isn't complicated. And Thomas, mate, if I'm not saying that you're struggling, but if you're asking questions like that, right, I can suggest either get a book for scouting for boys, right, or Lofty Wiseman's book, the SAS Survival Guide, right. Look in there on how to pack your kit. I don't know about Lofty should say it, right, but I know the scout book definitely shows you how to pack your kit, right. But it's down to you, mate. Ultimately, at the end of the day, right, you've got to carry it. You don't need things that anybody else has got, right? If you want to carry it, you carry it, mate, right? They're your calories, it's your kit, right? But rule of thumb, you try to have your shelter system on the outside So you can get your shelter system up, right? No matter what the weather is, get your shelter system up. Then you can get your kit bag and yourself underneath. You're out the elements, and then you can start dishing out what's what. But generally for me, it would be shelter on the outside. You should be able to grab your first aid kit straight away. And then brew kit for me, mate. You know what I mean? It's the most important thing is your brew kit. Tongue in cheek, but you know, it's not far off because it should have your water, boiling system, container, and your cook system type thing, you know what I'm saying. But yeah, don't get in a mess. Don't get in a mess, mate. Don't get tied up in it. You really shouldn't get tied up in it. It's to be enjoyed. You should enjoy it, man. Don't get stressed. There you go. Just me trying to help out a subscriber of mine, and I need to go through that. Prepared Norseman, he's done it like an EDC, just complete bump, and it just jogs you on to check your kit, doesn't it? You know what I mean? So that needs checking because it hasn't seen light of day for a while. That Thomas keep teeth things, I think it's underrated bit of kit you should have. At least oil of cloves, you know what I mean, and cotton wool to make it filling. But there's other things you can get. Remember the willow tree's aspirin, and pine resin can be used as a tooth filler.